first year at Stanford was Andrew Luck's class.
Oh, wow.
So we had on our coaches show last night. We talked about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was huge news. I mean, that was like, it sounds like corny, but I mean, that was our future in Indiana. Like, that was who was, we were told we're giving up 2 years of Peyton for 15 years of Andrew.
Exactly.
So it was a really big deal. Now, coach, do you mean as a player or a coach at Stanford?
He was a line coach at Stanford before he became, ironically, the Andrew Luck director of offense.
Yeah.
Andrew endowed the OC position as a coach.
So he was there Andrew Luck's last year.
Yeah, his first year.
Gotcha.
He was class.
Wow.
I beg your forgiveness, but I don't live in Houston, so I don't know what the media does. I don't know if anybody's touched on that yet.
Do you live in? How do you not live in Houston?
I live in Lufkin,
Where is that?
2 hours straight north.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so he talked about it, but I don't know if it's like out there.
Yeah.
As all you big time TV reporters looking for me.
Big time. No, I appreciate you telling me that.
Vanessa, right?
Yeah. You're JD.
JP.
JP.
Answer to any initial. Check, 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 check. Hello, hello.
Oh, can you do that again? Is that the microphone?
Yeah, I don't think it's on though. Check, check. Hello, hello. Test, test. Nothing.
Are you getting anything?
No.
Okay.
You think broadcast unless you know how to.
It's also different though. I've struggled with these cameras since I moved here because they're just so different than what I used before. And it's like it shouldn't be that hard, but
Well, their tendency, they run stuff lower. Should. What do I?
What's everybody doing?
Good, man. I couldn't figure out how to turn that mic on.
I gotcha.
See me go.
Yeah, I hope there's enough.
There you go.
Check, check. Check 1, 2. You got it? All right.
I was telling in the past, they always ran them lower.
Yeah.
So I was always having to jack up
Yeah, I know.
my levels.
Yeah. We got enough power there?
Yeah, you're awesome. Thanks. I promise I'm not a diva.
No, that's perfectly understandable.
I just need power.
Yep.
Good lunch?
I did. That was really good. The sweet corn was the best.
Was it Rudy's?
there something we gotta turn on for these screens, or
Hmm?
is there something we have to turn on for these screens, or?
Is it?
That's the audio.
No, this isn't coming on. Let's see here. I don't remember. Something not connected? Something unplugged?
Because usually we would have the screen on here.
Yeah, that's what I can't figure out. I used to do this before, and I can't figure out what.
You know where the screen control on this is?
Nope.
That should be it. It's just not turned on.
It seemed like there was another option on there. It's not showing up now. Because there used to be a thing it would tell you, like, do you want it to be this computer or that computer or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know why it's not showing up.
Probably be right there.
Yeah. we're at the bubble today, so. He's gotta get out of here. Yeah, if you can, yeah, he's got class at 1, so. Okay. You good? You got any feed? Testing 1, 2, check 1, 2. 1, 2. That's what I'm trying to, are you seeing anything out of the, because it's on in here. Are you getting it? Okay. All right. Sure. 1, 2, check 1, 2. Perfect. As perfect as my dulcet tone.
This past weekend, full 24-day training camp. We got after it pretty good. We started July 31st. I've talked about the schedule before, but it really was like Groundhog's Day. It was 5:30 wake-up calls, 5:30 breakfast for these guys on the field at 7-something. Then we'd have a quick position meeting, feed them lunch, let them go away from the building for a few hours, and then jump right into a workout, back into position meetings and install, and we let them go about 8 p.m. at night. So they were full days for these guys. In the practices that we had, in these training camp practices, we learned a lot about these players, learned a lot about this team, and I'm excited about the direction it's going. I think that this is a team that is hungry for success. You see it in the way they practice. You see it in the way they've taken care of their bodies, the way that they've really dove into learning these complex NFL systems on both sides of the ball. Really proud of what they've done so far in this 2019 fall. If you've been around at all, you know that this is a physical team, and we've had very, very physical practices. They have not hid from the physicality. They have stepped right up. They've responded the way we want them to, the way I want them to. They know that being physical is a non-negotiable trait in our program, and they have certainly answered the bell. And if you've been around, again, you know that. You've seen it. They are living and breathing intellectual brutality in every way, and I love their commitment to our brand. The other thing you'll see if you're around our kids at all is they love each other. They genuinely love each other. It doesn't take being around them long to see that. It's also really cool to me because we introduced 40 new players this summer, and they were great at welcoming them into our building, integrating them into our systems. I think it's a testament to our coaches and to our strength and conditioning coach, Hans Straub, and his staff, but it also speaks to our leadership about these guys over here that welcomed them and brought them into the fold. And that's really cool because I know that doesn't go on every place. After we wrapped up fall camp, we had the opportunity to vote on captains. And I can tell you as a head coach, I'm really pleased with the captains these guys chose. I've told these captains that I don't believe there's a greater honor that can be bestowed upon you by your teammates than being elected captain. And our captains for the 2019 season are senior Miles Adams, senior Chris Barnes, and junior Austin Trammell. And these guys, really, since I've been here, they bought into this culture. They've helped us advance it from day one. And I think that they're going to do nothing but hold their teammates accountable and really keep advancing everything that we're all about, all of our standards. They embody what I think a Rice student-athlete should be. And I'm so pleased that these guys were chosen by their peers. And we look forward to those three and our senior class leading us on and off the field this fall. A couple housekeeping notes. It was walk-on scholarship season. I think in the last week you've seen all across America, and we got to participate in that as well. We had 3 guys that we gave scholarships to that I really think that's the reason it's so cool that everybody sees it as so cool across America is these are people that bet on themselves, that said, you know what, I think I can be a college football player whether other people see it or not. In one of these kids' case, he had Pac-12 offers and still chose to come to Rice because he wanted the best of both worlds, wanted to be a world-class student-athlete, and we gave him that opportunity. So the 3 players that came in and earned it are Matt Sams at the safety position and played a lot for us on special teams last year. In the running back room, playing fullback for us is Brendan Suckley. And then at corner, true freshman Trayshawn DeVones has been added to scholarship as well. And he, if you've been at our practices again, he showed up time and time again. The status of players for this weekend's trip, largely we're a healthy football team, which people say you can't practice like this. You can't have training camps like this and not have injuries. And we've done a good job kind of putting that myth aside. Right now we've got the ouchies to camp and a few soft tissue injuries that will keep people out of this first game, but it's not many. Right now, the 3 that are ruled out and won't make the trip are wide receiver Rhett Cardwell, linebacker Myron Morrison, and offensive lineman Nick Wagman. Aside from that, we're coming back from a few nicks and bruises, but we're in a really good place health-wise, and that's a testament to our training staff and, once again, our head strength and conditioning coach, Hans Straub. The quarterback position, one I know some people want to talk about. It's been a great battle. There's 3 guys that have taken the bulk of the reps with the ones this fall, and that's Wiley Green, Tom Stewart, and Evan Marshman. And I think Evan and Tom have thrown the ball extremely well, and they've earned this staff's trust. They've done a great job through camp. I think Evan's throwing it absolutely as well as he ever has, throwing the deep ball as well as he ever has. And, again, their leadership has been what we want. All 3 of those guys, and there's talented guys behind them in that quarterback room. It's not like they're winning these jobs or in these positions by default. These are guys that have just stepped up, very talented guys behind them again. But as we talk about the guy that's going to start for us, it's going to be Wiley Green, and the reasons are very simple. He's got elite arm talent, in what I believe and what I've seen from him, but also the way he prepares, the way he lives a quarterback lifestyle. And very simply, I think one of the things that led him to secure this job as our starting quarterback is his experience in this system and his ability to protect the ball consistently throughout training camp. Those are the things that are non-negotiable. There's so many things we ask those guys to do pre-snap. He does them all extremely well, but then his post-snap in the fall was so much better than it was in the spring, and we've talked about those reasons before. But all the confidence in the world in Wiley and how he's going to be an extension of our coaching staff on the field. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions. Yeah, I don't think it's just Army's offense. I think Army in all three phases, they challenge you. They challenge you in the norms, if you will. But I know you're asking specifically about their offense, so we can talk about that. I just think that the triple option makes you start preparing for it. It would be extremely hard to prepare for this team in 1 week, in 2 days of actual practice. Luckily for us, we started practicing them on them in the spring. For the last 2 weeks, our commitment to them defensively has been real. And I think that, a lot of teams will go into this game and think that because you fit things well during practice and you play off blocks with your hands and stuff like that, that you're going to fit things well in the game. And I think you see game in and game out that that's simply not true. You have to practice against live cutting, which we did. You have to practice against the speed of this system to the best of your ability. And will it be exactly the same as Army's able to run it at? Absolutely not. But we've done everything we can. Our scout team has done a phenomenal job, as good as any time I've been around preparing for triple option football. And then you look at their defense, and I think their defense is outstanding because they bring extreme pressure from the field. Then they bring internal pressure. Then they bring it from the boundary. And they make you ask a lot of questions about, is this a good play, even if you can't see X, Y, and Z coming? They do a great job. And then we know, you can't waste plays against this offense, or against this team, I should say, because it's all about negative plays. If they get you in negative plays and make you go 3 and out, you may not have the ball for 12 minutes. They've proven that time and time again on film. So I don't think, again, there's any easy way to play this Army team. And I think I'd want to tell you, Glenn, that this is a different Army team. What Coach Monken and his staff have done to get better talent than they ever had and to play better than they ever have. It's so impressive to me. I mean, this is a different team, night and day to when we played them at Stanford in 2013 and 2014. Just the talent level is so much different. They're really good at what they do, to say the least. I also think about, that what they did last year, to end the season, beating the team across town 70-14, and I think ended up ranked number 19 in America. There's a lot of things that when I look at them and what their program's done on film, there's a lot of what I want people to think and say about our program. I mean, the discipline that they have, the physicality they play with, the fact that they're the team nobody wants to play. You read what teams had said about them towards the end of last year, and it's exactly what I want them to say about our team, whether they're talking about our offense or our defense, the physicality, the brotherhood, the culture, and the success.
On the quarterback front, you had competition last year, and that ran all the way into your first game of the season. What was different between whether Wiley and Mergen or the room this go around, and then do you intend to play Tom or Evan on Friday or throughout the season?
Yeah, I think that, number one, what was different is just Wiley's experience in the system. I think that's what he'd tell you. I mean, obviously, this time last year, Wiley was taking 3 or 4 reps, and he was still struggling at times to call plays in the huddle, like all quarterbacks do when they first enter the system. And now he really thinks this like a coach. Every conversation I have with him, I can see his wheels turning. He asks unbelievable questions in the room. Some of the conversations he's had with Coach Picasso are just really next-level things. And so I think that, again, this would be really different if we were looking at last year. If Wiley was a freshman coming into this system this year, maybe Tom's experience in game and just moxie as a quarterback would have beat him out. But that's not where we are. Wiley's pretty comfortable in what we're doing.
Coach, was there a point, when was the point during training camp when you sort of saw him step in front or emerge as possibly the guy?
It's a great question because, honestly, week 1, I would have told you that it was him and Tom Stewart are really neck and neck. Tom was really comfortable with those first few installs. I think once the volume of installs caught up with Tom a little bit, and I think he was thinking too much instead of his ability to react, I think that's what we saw, and Wiley just kept ascending. Now, Evan Marshman kept ascending too, and Matt, I should go back to the question you asked. I think there's a good chance we'll see Evan Marshman in this game. Again, whether it's some of the run game stuff that he's done out of the sub-running game, because it's something we've tried to really expand as our sub-running game package. to marry up things better in our system. We want to have more runs in 11 personnel than we had in the past. We want to have more passes in 22 and 23 personnel than we had in the past. So we're really trying to marry everything. So whether it's Evan to go into the ball game and throw a deep ball or to run some form of zone read, that's definitely something that we could see in this game or beyond.
Coach, you mentioned during the offseason about building up depth in the offensive line. You moved in, one guy doesn't make it this week. How much has the depth, the incoming depth helped you? Okay, fellas, just fill the spot.
Yeah, I think the incoming depth of those guys really helps us. I mean, there's 3 of those grad transfers that are going to start for us on Friday night, and Brian Chafin, Nick Leverett, and Justin Gooseberry. The experience that comes with those names is incredible. The number of games started, number of games, college games played in. The fact that Brian's played in big bowl games and championship games means everything. And I just think that those guys added so much. Now, you're asking about the depth and totality. And I think we're at a point where we kind of have a pair and a spare, which is what I'm used to in the National Football League, right? That's what you're used to traveling is 7 or 8 offensive linemen. And we've got 7 or 8 guys that can go in a game, and we won't have a significant drop-off. So I think that's really cool.
You think being more physical, and Army is physical, 11-2 last season.
Yes, sir.
You think being more physical is going to help you, especially against their runners?
I think it's the only way to play Army. And again, if you guys didn't hear Nate's question, it was, do we think our physicality will help us against Army? I think Army absolutely feasts on finesse teams. That's what they want. They want people that aren't willing to stand in front of them and throw punch after punch after punch. And what they're going to see is, we're going to be willing. We are a willing group to come into the fight, and we're going to fight. I think these guys love each other too much not to do that.
One of your former position was the Andrew Luck director of offense. So what was your reaction to the news on Saturday? Is there anything you've learned from when you were spent time with Luck in 2011 that would apply to your current teams?
Yeah, my reaction was disbelief at first, and then once I talked to one of his best friends and realized that it was real, there was some sadness that came over me, simply because I know what a role model he is. I know how much I've loved watching him play, whether it's in college or in professional football, and I feel like that was taken away from me and my children, and I hate that. Do I think he's making the right decision once I learned more of the facts that he's never had an off season? He's had to deal with surgery and rehab every single off season. Never had a break, and I know that he's married. I know he's expecting a child, and I know there's things, as smart as Andrew is, that he can see the big picture and know that there's things bigger in football for him. So I'm absolutely happy for him. I have no idea what's next. It wouldn't be right for me to speculate, but I know he'll be successful at whatever it is. So I guess the best way for me to say it is I'm honored that I got to work with Andrew.
You talked so much about finishing last season. How in the last several months, the last several weeks, have you tried to be a part of that message?
I wish you would ask them that question because there's not much we do where we don't talk about finish. Discipline, finish, toughness, mental toughness. One thing that I thought was really cool this offseason is I got to hear Tom Brady talk about competitive stamina. And what he said is anybody can go into a practice, anybody can go into a season and rock it for 3 days or 3 periods or 3 games. But he said, I have great competitive stamina. And that's what I've challenged our guys to attain, to get to a place where they have great competitive stamina. So it doesn't matter the distraction or the length of time or the point in the game. They're going to be fine. They're going to fight through that thing. Again, I think it's going to come down to how much they love each other and the fact that they're going to look at each other and just say, I got this. Let's keep going. And adversity is going to strike. In every football game, in every football season, adversity strikes. And I actually like where our guys are right now. I think they're going to be able to respond very well. And we know this, Glenn. When things like that happen, as much as we want to prepare them in summer conditioning and through the program and the mental gymnastics and games we play there and the way we try to talk them through situations in fall, when that situation arises and that adversity hits and we're sitting there at 4th down and 1, whether we need it or need to stop somebody with the game on the line, my whole staff and myself are going to be a sideline away. It's going to be up to them. So I love that our leadership has come up to the level that it's at right now.
Let's talk about the run game, your run game, and we've seen how guys are busting footballs through the run game, how physical that is, how much confidence you have in it going against the non-teamers. Again,
Yeah, very good defensively. You're exactly right. So I just think we're at a good place. I think run game wise, we believe in our core. We know our core, and we're going to do our best job as coaches to stay within that core all season, not just against Army. Like, who are we? We're a gap scheme team. We're a two-back team. Then we talked about those sub-runs that we've added. And just because it's only 11 personnel or 10 personnel on the field when we call them, it doesn't mean it's not an extremely physical rep. Every time we get an opportunity to do anything on the football field, it's just got to be done in the most physical manner possible. But to answer your question, I like where we are in the running game. I think our kids have confidence and understanding of what needs to happen, and they understand that position blocking is not a word we use in our system. It's about moving a man from point A to point B against his will. And I think if you ask any of our kids, they'll know that. So at least we're singing out the same hymnal. They've had examples pointed out where they did things extremely well, and it's why the hole opens. I remember Walter Payton used to say, I need 18 inches of daylight. And, you know, I think that's an awesome thing for a running back to say, but we'd like to get him at least 24. Like, we're trying to really expand those holes to the best of our ability right now.
Coach, when you go to sleep Thursday night and wake up for your first game of the season, what's different this year than getting ready to prepare to do last year?
Nobody wants to hear me talk about all the things that are different because we'll be here till tomorrow. Everything is different. Yeah, Cliff Notes are the second time around for me. And just understanding more about my staff and this team and having the comfort in knowing how great the people around me are and the trust in them. I probably tried to do too much in a first-year head coach, and especially with the experienced guys that I have around me. And I know who I can trust with what, and so I can focus on the things that are truly important. I know this team better. I know this group of guys, and especially these leaders better. I will sleep well Thursday night.
Their quarterback Hopkins, he's a little different because he can pass a little more than the quarterbacks they've had in the past.
Yeah, he's pretty sporty. He's a good player. Really good player. I think you look at him offensively, I mean, he makes them go. And I think that's the biggest difference. I think they had 8 turnovers all of last year. I remember a game a few years back where they had 6 in a game, you know, and that's when their offense stalls, when they can keep the ball going and keep getting to 4th and 1 and then moving the sticks. I mean, that's where they want to be. This kid's done a great job, and the fact that he does throw real well makes him really dangerous. I think he is absolutely the key to their offense. I think defensively they got 2 seniors over there that have played a lot of football for them. 54, Cole Christensen, you know, in a very complimentary way. We're calling him Captain America. I mean, he's played a ton of football. He's always on the field. And he's a downhill linebacker now. I mean, he will hit you. He will make play after play. And then their boundary corner, Elijah Riley, wants to be a bully, you know, and he's going to be involved in the run game. He's going to reroute receivers, get in their face at line of scrimmage. And those 2 seem to be the lifeblood of their defense, especially with the D-line having a lot of new faces on it. But guys are going to be disciplined. They're so ingrained in that system. Whoever they throw out there, I just think they're going to do their job very, very well. And they're not going to give you anything. We're going to have to out-execute if we want to gain a yard.
How well do you know Coach Monk?
I don't know him well, but all the respect in the world for him. I know Todd Monken well, which I can't remember if Todd's his brother or his cousin, but they're related somehow. And a lot of respect for – I know Todd really well. Todd's an offensive guy and more spread, throw the ball all over the yard. And obviously, Jeff's not. But I heard Jeff speak at the Bear Bryant Foundation dinner 2 years ago, and you know, he had me rooting for him big time. And for what those guys do. I mean, like, we all have to have an appreciation for what those guys at Army sign up for that's so much bigger than ball. You know, the fact that they're going to go on and protect our country and our freedoms and allow us to play this great game and go to school and have our families safe. So, again, like, all the respect in the world for their program, what those kids do, and, again, what Coach Monken's built.
You talked about your strength regiment and how your strength team and your strength coach is really up the ante. What direct results are you wanting to see from that?
You know, I think there's a couple things. The price always increases is a word that's used down there a lot. So to go from year 0 to year 1, we had to do more and ask more of them. We're a run-to-win football program anyway, that I think we're in great condition. But as you ask that, what do I want to see from them? I already see bigger, faster, stronger athletes, which is always the goal. I guess I want to see it show up on every game we play. You know, and we're going to have great weather on the banks of the Hudson. It sounds like it's a high 85, a low of 63, I think. Like, our guys won't know how to act. So we're going to enjoy that weather up there.
Anything else? Next question.
All right, thank y'all.
We're bringing players down here. I've got Miles and Austin both at 1 o'clock class, so I'm gonna do them first. Nate, if you're gonna want Miles, you don't wanna come over here, so then you'll have to scramble across. Miles, just come up first. We will round it.
All right, first I want to thank everyone for coming out and giving your time for letting me speak to you guys today. I just wanted to say that I'm very excited for the beginning of this football season. I'm excited to be a part of the leadership of this team. I'm honored, as Coach Bloom said, it's a great honor me spending these years here, and my team saw me fit to be one of the leaders for this team. So I'm really excited to, play this game with my brothers in the next few days. If you guys have any questions for me.
Miles, what do you remember about this time you years ago when you faced them?
I traveled to Army my freshman year, so I have that experience as well. But when I played against them in our home game 2 years ago, I remember just the discipline of their offense. I don't really look more into their defense, but I saw their defense was pretty physical, pretty aggressive. But their offense was aggressive as well. They're very disciplined. They're very keen on their assignments. So we had to make sure that we are reading our keys, staying diligent in our preparation and what we've practiced. And we have to make sure that while we're doing that, we're being more physical than them, because you're only going to get a certain number of plays from them. And I think that's what they pride themselves on, being able to execute those plays, whatever they're going to run, executing them well. So you have to make sure that you're staying on your game and in your preparation so that you can properly defend it, but with physicality. That's the emphasis.
I don't know how much you've gotten a chance to see your quarterback confidence, but what stands out to you about him?
Seeing him in film, I got to see what he did against University of Houston last year, watching film on him. He's very versatile. He's one of the guys that we're going to have to watch out for. We've been preparing for him and how he runs their offense, and we had a great look from one of our coaches, Lucas Reed, pretty speedy, giving us a pretty great look in practice. And I guess really we're going to have to really be diligent in making sure that we stay diligent in what we've been preparing for him, because he's fast and he can also throw the ball. So he's a good player. I'm ready for him.
Another Miles Adams on the team.
Yeah.
Give him an extra hard time. He's almost got the same name.
When he first got here, I used to joke with him about it a little bit. Actually, funny thing is, Coach Calhoun, my defensive line coach, because we're both defensive linemen, and he had a hard time differentiating with name calling. So we would just have to pick different nicknames, and he would call me his nickname, and Coach would call him mine. And but other than that, it's pretty cool. And we also got another Miles on the team, Miles McCord, that we just got in this season. So it's pretty cool I haven't been played many places with guys with my same name, so it's pretty cool actually.
Your senior season and kind of now year two of Mike and his staff coming in, are there any particular goals or things that you want to finish to help kind of establish the direction of where this program's headed?
Well, could you repeat that question?
As far as your senior season, is there one or two big things that you're kind of helping establish this new direction and new culture? Is there anything you're particularly excited about, getting to help set that standard?
Unity and togetherness. When Austin comes up, he'll probably be able to give you more of what his thing has been on, like loving your brother, doing things for your brother. We want to have that togetherness. That's what we pushed this summer in our off season. It was a tremendous increase in repetition that we've made with our summer conditioning program. That's credit to Hans Straub, but also credit to, the progression in mindset and mentality with our football team. We're really bought into that intellectual brutality to where we have pride in what we do and perfecting our craft and everybody having a common goal and trying to strive for that together. So I would say unity is something I'm trying to strive for, making sure that we have, establishing a winning mindset and a winning culture in this building, because that's something that we've been building, and it's time to prove that this season.
Is it crazy that your senior year is here already? Seems like you're just coming in.
It's starting to sink in this week. It's game week. I guess I've been going through camp, and it's been pretty great camp actually. But I think it's starting to set in that this is my senior season this week. But I'm ready for it.
Anything else? Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming out. I just want to start with saying I just feel so blessed and honored to be named team captain by my teammates. It's really a great privilege and something I'm taking super seriously. And it's going to be a thing where I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can this year for my brothers and to build this team and to create a program where we win games and go to bowl games and win championships. We are just so excited to get the season started this week and to fly up to West Point. If you just kind of ask around, you can tell, there's a different energy, a different vibe going around with the guys. Because, it's just, it's a new feel with how we are together. There's that bond, unity that Miles was talking about. We just all love each other so much, and we want to succeed for our brothers and not so much for ourselves. And I think that's what's going to create a lot of success for us. Other than that, is there any questions?
How do you feel different personally as a player than you did last season?
I feel experienced. Last year, even though I played as a true freshman coming in with a new system last year, it felt almost like another freshman year. So I think having that under my belt, having that game experience, the knowledge of the system, it's going to help tremendously, and just knowing the game, knowing what to do, moving parts and everything, and just helping me lead our guys as well. Personally, I just want to lead our guys. I want to do everything I can to help us win games and help us get close to that conference championship.
You got the new quarterback throwing the ball to you. Is there anything different about the way he throws it hard, or does he leave it up for you to what's it, is there anything different about it?
So Wiley Green is a really good friend of mine, and I'm really glad he's going to be the one throwing the ball. And I'm excited to see what he does this year. He likes to sling it in there. He has an arm, tight spiral, but I'm really excited about Wiley. Me and have a great relationship on the field and off the field. So really excited to see what we'll do this year.
Do you guys feel a little more out of your comfort zone when you catch a play this week rather than zero coming against FCS? And you're also playing a team that probably should be ranked in the AP poll right now. So how's that feeling?
It's an opportunity. That's all it is. Doesn't matter who we play, where we go. We're going to play Rice University football, give everything we have, and play for our brothers.
Coach Hans Straub singled you out as pound for pound the strongest guy in the offense in the radio show last night. I don't know if you heard that, but do you have any remarks to that? And has that been kind of a cool little personal bragging point for the offseason?
I guess, I don't know. He told me about that today, which is kind of a cool little fact. But I just think I'm just a grinder. I love the work. I love the weight room. Love what Coach Hans is doing. So I think it is all a testament to him and what he does.
Anything else? Thank you, Austin.
Thank you, guys.
Chris Barnes came up and wanted to wind up last. What we said is, last year your experience was holding, now you're getting more into the whole swing of things.
Sounds good. All right, first off, I just want to thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to talk to y'all. I want to start with saying, I'm just extremely grateful and honored by being voted captain by my teammates. It's something that I'm extremely grateful for, and something I take very seriously, and just want to do everything I can for them to make sure we have a great season and build this culture that Coach Bloom's talking about. With that, I just kind of want to open up questions to y'all. Yeah, so the competition with Adam is, first off, he's a good guy. We have like that friendly relationship on and off the field, and then we're both just competitive guys. So whenever we're out there, we're competing, and he's done a great job coming in here and fitting in. So it's just kind of about that, just that competition, that friendly competition, that we're trying to get the best product on the field for the team. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to put the best product on the field to win some games. And like you said, replacing Jack. Jack's obviously, he's one of my best friends, so something I keep in touch with him, and I get advice from him and stuff, and we just kind of keep in touch, and hopefully we can build off of what he did last year and really turn it in better and just improving areas that we were lacking in last year. So. Oh yeah, I kind of talk. We kind of talk every day, whether it's about football or other stuff. So we keep in touch. So he's doing good.
And then this is going to be, you mentioned you had some holding experience, but when you step on the field with Army or this season, actually get to punt in a real game situation, is that just going to be a whole surreal experience in itself?
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit surreal, but I think having the holding experience last year will help a little bit because I haven't punted in a game since high school. But Coach Sabota and the scout team reps on punt pressure, doing a great job, giving a great look. So I feel like we've had a lot of meaningful reps that should replicate what we should get from Army. So they're doing a great job to get that feel, keep our off times low. So it should be fun.
I know punting wasn't always your favorite thing in high school, I've heard, but can you talk about that, bro? Because I think, understandably, you're kind of underselling it, but remarkable story because you came in here in a different position, but you've shown that knack for it, obviously.
Yeah, so I came in, I walked on the team in 2015. I played tight end first year through, and then ran into some concussion issues my second year. Then I kind of mentioned to Coach Patterson at the time that I could punt, and they gave me an opportunity to do that. And then I kind of just learned a little bit from Jack and from the coaches there. And then whenever Coach Bloom and his staff came, they gave me another opportunity, asked me to come back and put me on scholarship, which is just amazing for me and my family. So I'm always appreciative of that. And so just kind of that process was something that I didn't think was going to happen and didn't think I was going to be here. But here I am, and I'm extremely grateful for Coach Bloom and this team. I love these guys in that locker room, and I'm just excited to get this season going.
Yeah, you told me about tonight, so I'll ask you now. Like 3 years ago, could you have even imagined that you'd be a team captain in this situation? So what's that like?
Not at all. That's a great question. I never thought I'd be in this position. But like I said, I'm extremely grateful for it, and I just want to do the best things I can for the team and build this culture that we're trying to establish here and leave a lasting legacy for the incoming people that will come to this university.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for everybody for coming out. I do kind of want to apologize for my lack of dress. I was kind of notified of this last minute. And if I take off the hat, my mom's going to be mad I didn't brush my hair. So we'll keep the hat on for now. But other than that, open up for any questions.
Being the starter, what does it feel like to be the starter in a earning position?
It's super exciting, obviously. That's something I've really worked for a long time. Growing up as a kid, I've always wanted to be a Division I quarterback. And to be able to have that opportunity here at the Rice Owls is, better than anything I could have imagined. So it's very exciting, it's very humbling, but at the same time, we got a lot of work to do.
To an extent, you already kind of competed with Evan and some of the other guys last year for the job. How did Tom coming in maybe change that?
I think personally for me, it kind of led me to more of a teaching aspect and role. Obviously, coming in last year, I didn't really know the offense. Had a large, big learning curve coming in because this is, an intellectual offense. You got to be able to understand and make pre-snap, post-snap reads. So for this chance, kind of going into it this year, I was able to kind of take a step back, and obviously going through the spring was a big help. And over the summer, really working a lot with, Austin Trammell and a lot of those guys who have been in the system and kind of develop a lot of my offensive schemes from them and Coach Bloom and Coach Picasso and Coach Quinn and all those guys really helping me with Coach Mack. And I was able to kind of go into this year with an ability to not only understand the offense, but be able to teach it. I think that's a big aspect for any quarterback, for anybody in the system. Once you've been able to teach the system or at least talk through it with other guys, you kind of have a much better understanding of what's going on and the reasoning behind run plays, pass plays, the schemes. So I think this year was a big help for me, going in with obviously Evan, who's known a lot of this system as well, and Parker Towns as well, who's known a lot of it, being able to kind of go in with those guys and teach, Giovanni and teach Tom and just really kind of grind together as a group because, we're a pretty close quarterback group and close-knit, but overall has allowed us to be able to teach those guys and really work with those guys to compete at the best level we could.
Marlon, what did it for you? Coach talked about some of the things that you did, and you picked up, I guess, the quality of plays and understanding of the offense. What did it for you? What was it?
I think it was, for me, the thing that kind of kicked in, the thing that I most remember is it was around day 7 of fall camp, and I had gone through a couple rough days, just trying to, there's a lot going on obviously in the system. There was just trying to remember everything, learn everything again, reteach it, understand what's all going on. But I think the big thing was about day 7, day 8, you can find it in my notebook at the top of it. It was like, you know what, I'm going to make the effort, I'm going to make the choice right now that I want to be Rice Owls starting quarterback. And I wrote it down, put down a couple goals right next to it. I was like, this is what I'm going to do to get there. I'm going to help lead these guys. Obviously, I'm going to give the best of my ability, put in the time and effort because, we were in fall camp and that's all you have to focus on. You don't need to focus on anything else other than football. And that was a chance for me to really sit down, grind, and put my head down and really focus on that and obviously focus on all the different aspects of our scheme. And I think that was a big turning point for me personally where I decided that I was going to do whatever it took to pursue my personal goals of helping this team and obviously understanding that whoever coach chose at the end of the day was going to help this team in the best possible way possible.
You got Army coming up. Can you kind of talk about that defense? It was 11-2 last year. Really good against Innovation Bowl game. Kind of talk about what you're looking, what you're expecting.
Yeah, obviously we've talked a lot about it. Army's a disciplined team. But I feel like we're going to come out more physical. Across the board, offensive line, fullbacks, running backs, even at the quarterback's position, we're going to come out more physical than they are. Because that's what we preach here, and that's what we're going after. But Army's a good disciplined team. They're going to hit the right gaps. They're going to do the right schemes. They're going to do the right things that they need to do. But overall, looking forward to that game on Friday. Ready to get after it. Ready to play somebody other than the Rice Owls.
As Coach mentioned earlier about playing a team like Army, the middle of the season, it's totally different. You have having for a bowl game on the first game out, where you have time to put things in, kind of like roll stuff, get repetitive with what you're seeing in front of you. How much is that going to help make for you looking forward to the game?
It's a huge help. It's a huge help for any team to be able to have that extra time to prepare for anybody, but especially Army when they have different schemes and different, with how disciplined they are up front in the secondary, how physical they can be. It definitely gives us an upper hand at what we want to do here and gives us a chance to really attack their schemes and whatever we can do to go after them. But yeah, like Coach said, we're really looking forward to playing somebody other than us for a little bit, and the vibes, you can feel it across the board, is super excited. This whole team is ready to get after it and ready to go up to West Point and play some football.
Well, you mentioned the second goal to be starting quarterback midway through fall camp. You, since recess, now that you have that job and put new goals for Friday and this coming season?
Yeah, at the beginning of the summer, we kind of made goals as a team. Like, this is what we want to do. We want to win football games, and we want to win a conference championship. Looking back on it, I wasn't too set on my personal goals at the time, and I was more focused on what the team needed. Obviously, when I got that chance to kind of focus a little bit on myself, that's kind of what I did with my personal goals. But looking back on it, that's, going back to what I mentioned to a little bit earlier, that's solely what we're focused on now, is team goals and winning games, winning conference championships, and going out there and surprising a lot of people this year.
Coach was saying last night that you and Tom doing some leadership stuff in the offseason, some kind of aircraft carrier, just last night, but what was that like? What did you learn from that?
Yeah, so we were given the chance to go to the commander camp, which is a phenomenal experience. This was the first time they ever got to do it. Coach Bloom obviously gave Tom and I the blessing to go out there to San Diego and experience a lot of cool activities. We met with about 14 other quarterbacks from across the Division I, Michigan, Michigan State, Indiana, a lot of different teams and quarterbacks, where we were able to go experience naval training and leadership. And so a lot of what we did was the first day we got to fly out to an aircraft carrier that was, at sea and 100 miles off the coast of California, and super cool experience. Obviously, getting to the takeoff and the launch point on an aircraft carrier is a little bit different than maybe landing on a regular runway. But being able to see the experience of that they're leaders across the board in the Navy, from 18 to 22 years old that are leading, driving the ship. Even we met a 19-year-old kid who's my age that was driving the ship at one point. And like that's an experience that like for me personally that I'll cherish forever, that I was able to board the Navy aircraft carrier and experience all these different leadership opportunities that you see across the board and learn from the top chiefs and master chiefs and captains and admirals in the Navy. And then we also got to go to Navy SEAL training on Wednesday, which was a little terrifying at first. One of my best friends is at the Naval Academy, and he was trying to warn me about the SEAL training, what all went on there, and didn't quite prepare me for what I was walking into. But it was a super cool experience where we got to go through a lot of mental toughness areas. We got to go through a couple of the trainings that they do. And our military is pretty awesome, to say the least, because not a single quarterback could complete the course, which is impressive because there's a lot of athletic guys there. But we got to learn a lot of the mental ability that it takes to lead people that are older than you, lead people that are younger than you, to be able to lead for your brothers and the people around you. And then finally, that last day, we got to go train with the Marines. Got to do a couple obstacle courses with them, go through a couple exercises where they kind of taught us about leadership as well. So overall, the camp was, an absolute blast, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I can't thank Coach Bloom. Coach George Whitfield was one of the guys who hosted it enough for allowing us that opportunity to go out there and learn from the best leaders in the world.
Anything else? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.